In today's video, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step process on exactly what I was looking for coming into the market. For the first week of January 2026, it was a pretty average week. We had some wins, we had some losses, and we had a number of setups we were able to take: the first red day, the breakout, and the gapping crash. Before we get into the exact trades, I'm going to break down the exact process I use before I get into any single trade. The first thing that's most important is a fixed risk amount. We call it 1R. My 1R for this trading account is $1,600. That's about 2% of the account. Now, there could be multiple trades in one day, so understand that just because it's 2% doesn't mean that that's not a huge amount of risk. If I have 4 or 5 trades in one day, I'm risking $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So understand that it's 2% of the account, but there could be more than one trade, and that's my fixed risk. I'm also looking for repeatable setups that show themselves frequently enough that I'm constantly churning that money in and out of the stocks, and I'm finding that edge and extracting that edge constantly. That is very important. I'm not looking for setups that only appear once or twice a blue moon. At the end of each day, I log every trade in this journal that you see over here. I'm reviewing each trade. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Did I follow my plan? And I'm trying to do better every day. We're all humans. We all make mistakes, but the best of the best traders are able to identify their mistakes and not consistently repeat them. We identify them and we review at the end of the day. When I'm trading stocks, I'm looking for thick stocks, right? I want stocks that have volume. I want stocks to have liquidity. I want stocks to have volatility, the ability to move, at least for the day trading portion. That's where I think money is made. And ideally, these things are trading volume. Ideally, they're trading like a general threshold that I use is $25 million volume. Last but not least, for looking for trending stocks, they don't have to be trending, but you can have sectors like right now, currently in this time, the space stocks are really hot because you have SpaceX coming out with a valuation that's above and beyond anyone's expectations. So these smaller space companies that do similar things are starting to get a bump in their market caps. And so just being aware of what themes are moving the market right now. Also, like silver and gold and the metals are doing quite well. Then also, like, still at the end of the day, I'm looking for volatility. So identify themes, but also play stocks that are volatile and that have interest. And that is usually gauged by percent increase and volume on the day. So as you can see here on the trading sheet, we have we're not going to count SLV. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we have 5 trades to go over, pretty much 1 per day. So I'll bring up the chart. I'll go through entries and exits and what the setup is, what I did wrong, if I did anything wrong, and then we'll move on to the next one. And there's pretty much 1 per day. That's just kind of how this trading week worked, except for on the 9th, we had 4 trades, and I guess I'll just pick out the one I like the most. What's up, guys? Just real quick, we're selecting 15 beginner traders who want to finally become profitable and change their trading forever with Black Clover. Scan this QR link or check the link in the description and we'll talk about it later. First one we're going to talk about is SLS. I don't know if any of you guys are football fans, but oftentimes when a QB misses a wide open pass, the announcer says, man, that QB is going to want that one back. And that's kind of my view of SLS. I severely underperformed the pattern's potential in SLS. I only made 1,200 on this. And if I just followed my system and my trade plan as it was written, it would have been a $9,000 trade, but I saw some price action I didn't like. I saw some level 2 action I didn't like. I let my brain scare myself out of the position. And there's many reasons for that we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but I didn't follow my plan and I ended up not letting this winner run. This is a setup where you have a picture perfect first red day. A stock has been on a nice little multi-day run, then starting to get that gap sequence and extending itself into the 5s. Right here, you have this first red day that goes from $5 all the way down to $3.50, let's call it, maybe $3.60. And what I really like about this setup is if you're just looking at potential triggers and risk rewards, generally on these first red days, I'm trying to get in around, the previous day's closing line. That's about $5. And in this case, had I risked the previous day's high, $5.17, that's 17 cents of risk. And on the downside, there's $1.50. So it doesn't really matter who you are and how you play it, but there's a really good risk reward equation here that a lot of traders could have capitalized and made their week. This is the one I want back because I really only made 1-to-1 risk reward because I scared myself out of the trade. And that's a lesson for me to move forward with. The next one is BNAI. This is a stock that had a breakout at the end of December, going from a breakout of 288 all the way to a high of 413. It consolidated for a day and then rebroke those highs and had another breakout. I was buying on this day, followed my plan perfectly. This one just didn't materialize into very much. Made $400, moved on with my life. That's not the best trade, but it's not really like there's nothing else I could have done. It just didn't perform above average. It just actually performed below average. But I followed the plan. And that's just what the plan resulted. That's what the system resulted. And there's nothing I can really do about that. CRML, this is my biggest loss of the week. We have a situation where another first red day is presenting itself. We have that gap sequence, an extended stock up from $6 to $14. And we have that first time that it's gapping down, a potential trend shift. The one thing I didn't like about this stock was that it's kind of a more real company. It doesn't fit in that penny stock niche that I love so much. I'd rather trade horrible companies because I think, especially to the short side, I think horrible companies have this gravity effect that brings them down to zero. And when you're dealing with like real companies running on real macro news, yes, they can still have pullbacks. They can still have excellent first red days. You can actually see it back here in October. This stock got extended and had a nice first red day. So now on the backside of all of that, it's kind of regaining its strength and coming back for some. Maybe the market's getting stronger. Maybe metals are getting stronger. So this is starting to see some strength. I wasn't too excited about shorting this because again, it's just not really a penny stock, but I figured if I got some really tight risk reward, it could be very well worth my time if it just had like a consolidation day or a pullback day. So I got short in at 1370, same idea as SLS, risking the previous day's high. So roughly 20 cents of risk, maybe 25. If it dropped $1, which is not asking for much, it would have been nice 4 or 5 to 1 risk reward. Instead, it blew right through high a day. I took my loss. I stopped watching it because the pattern broke. And I took my loss, and that's absolutely fine. Again, I traded it perfectly. Very happy about this. The biggest loss so far is SLS, making 1,200 instead of the 9,000 that I should have made if I just followed the plan. If I lose following the plan, that's absolutely fine. That's going to happen. But if I make money and don't follow the plan, that's actually a loss in my head because I made significantly less money than I should have. And that's actually way more detrimental than what happened with CRML. The next stock that I trade was UAVS. This is the next day. UAVS, nice little, not nice. It was okay. It was better than BNAI, but still not great. Had a nice little breakout over this line here at 162. I bought at 163. I swung it into the next day and just pretty much sold market open, making $1,287 or a 14% gain. In the pre-market, it was in the twos. I really thought I could have seen 210, 220. That would have been average. I would have been pretty good. But instead, this is what the setup gave me. And again, executed perfectly. Nothing to really learn here in terms of mistakes. And better than BNAI. But again, I didn't trade it any differently than BNAI. This one just was better. That's the setup performed better in this case. And we'll continue to watch this one in the future because it could consolidate and re-break those highs. We'll see. A lot of breakouts currently in the market. I don't know why, but every night that I scan, I have like 3, 4, or 5 stocks that are on breakout watch. INBS was one of them. Had a situation where it broke out earlier in December and pretty much failed, but held together, started to make higher lows and came back for those highs. So I did end up buying on this breakout here, swung it into the next day, held low of day pretty well and started spiking. So I sold some into the 17s and I'm actually still swinging some as we speak right now. Just a fourth of my position because it's holding up so well. That one I'm up. I made 588 locked in. I'm up another 400 unrealized. So we'll see how that one ends on Monday. Overall, pretty active week. Some stocks we didn't talk about, but FLYX was a gap and crap that I was able to trade. That was the only gap and crap that fit my criteria. Just a stock that gapped up super big from its previous day. Generally, I like to treat these as shorts and fade them. Didn't make a whole ton of money here. Again, these setups just didn't perform as good as they can. And that's kind of out of my control. What's in my control is executing the strategy appropriately. And I would say that I did that on all of the trades this week, except for SLS, and that happened to be the biggest winner. So big mistake, will not make it in the future. We'll continue to just execute the trading plan that is generally the hardest part for traders, is just have a trade plan and then follow it. And in this case, I made that mistake. I'm human as well. It will not happen again. If you're worried about losing streaks, I've actually been in a losing streak for over a month. December and November were not kind to me. Here's how I handled them this week, and here's how I always handle losing streaks. You have to have a bread and butter setup. You have to have something that you can identify the pattern, identify the trigger, identify the risk, know how you're going to get out of that position, and know what you're comfortable risking, and just only focus there and take out all miscellaneous and random trades out of the question. So that even after a tough day or a tough week, you know that there's a setup that you can win on more often than not and that you're very comfortable trading. That always gets me back to a profitable equity curve. And then from there, we can start to bring in some more aggressive type of trading that is outside the norm. So I'm not sure if you can do this with a small account. I started with a small account as well before I figured this out. And now I help many traders with just $1,000 account. What you have to understand is trading is a game of scale. So whether you're risking 20 or 40 bucks or 200 or 400 bucks or 2,000 or 4,000 or 20,000 or 40,000 or 200,000 or 400,000, it's the same rinse, wash, repeat process. So At first, it's a grind when you have that small account, but eventually as the account builds, so does the risk tolerance, and you can actually hit those upper levels of risk tolerance. If you want to learn this system and trade live with us and simultaneously get personal feedback on your trades, you can apply for the Clover Trading Mentorship below. We only take a handful of traders each month, so if you're serious about building real trading skills, not just chasing alerts, click the first link in the description or scan this QR code. Fill out the application and let's see if you're a good fit. We'll see you inside.